The latest, tiniest, and most affordable EV from BYD has just been launched in the form of this, the Seagull. Now, it's most definitely a tiny car meant for the city. In fact, its dimensions are closer to that of the Wigo. So odd then that we would do this walk around outside the city. The reason is, it can. That's because the Seagull has a 300 kilometer range thanks to a 30 kilowatt hour battery. Now, it produces 74 horses and 135 newton meters of torque, which is not bad for a tiny car. Charging the vehicle will take you roughly about half an hour from 30 to 80% using a DC charger, which you can find right here. Now, using the wall charger and AC outlet, it'll take you roughly about 5 hours to go from 0 to 100%. So really altogether, that's not so bad. Now, I don't know if it's just me or if it's because the color of the car or the cuts of the car or the combination of the color and the cuts of the car, but the front end kind of reminds me of a Lamborghini Urus or just a Lambo in general. I don't know, maybe it's just me. That's like saying I look somewhat like George Clooney. No, malabo. Di kaya, sir. No, sorry. The lights are very sharp, the cuts up front are very sharp, and it's wide, trying to be as wide as possible for a tiny vehicle. Down the side, you have 16-inch wheels wrapped in 55 series tires with discs up front and at the rear. It doesn't have much ground clearance, but it's decent at 120 millimeters. On the side mirror, you do have repeaters, no cameras, however, because it doesn't have a 360 monitor, but it does have a pretty clear reverse camera. Now, the cuts on the side, I like it because it seems to push it all the way to the rear, even with this garnish found down below, this accent. It pushes it nicely to the back, and then this floating roof line looks actually very good, thanks to the dark edges or dark color here on the C-pillar. Come around to the rear. When you get here, you realize just exactly how tiny and absolutely cute this car is, even with this diminutive. Here, I'll show you how cute this thing is. Jack, don't move.
What is this guy doing? Where did you get that? Where did that come from?
It was swimming in the water. It's a dolphin. The Dolphin is already a tiny car, but look at it compared to the Seagull. It's so cute! I mean, I'm definitely not George Clooney, but I'm no Aquaman either. When you open the rear, there is a decent amount of space in the back. You're looking at 230 liters of space, so good enough for the accessories and whatnot that comes with BYD, and including an overnight bag. And of course, you can tumble the rear seats. It's not a 60-40 split, but it does tumble, which will reveal over 900 liters of space, 930 to be exact. Although we don't have any balikbayan boxes with us today, I can tell you that if you were to load it with balikbayan boxes, it might be an issue if it's heavy stuff because the lip is kind of deep, and then there's also the space between the floor and the rear rest. So there's that. But hey, at least there's a lot of space, right? If you are one of the 2 passengers recommended to be back here, you may want to bring a power bank with you if your cell phone is running low on juice, because unfortunately there are no charging points found here. There's a very huge cubby hole, yes, but no charging points, no center armrest, no cup holders there, just bottle holders on the door, and that's it. It's pretty Spartan. Apart from the fact that you've got nice offset colors on the door, right, there really isn't much else back here, other than the fact that you've got a lot of space for your passengers. This is the leg room, which is pretty decent. That's my normal driving position. And the headroom is also quite good. Elbow room, obviously, like I said, 4 passengers only and no center tunnel. So yeah, pretty darn good. And even in a car this tiny, you still have ISOFIX tethers. Oh my, Jack, I haven't used that term in a while. And ISOFIX tethers. It's been a while. It's been a minute! Driver tech and comfort is led by a 7-inch digital screen directly in front of you as your instrument cluster. And then you have a large 10.1 touchscreen infotainment system in the center that has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is pretty cool. And it has a pretty cool trick too, although I can't do it when Android Auto is on, but it does rotate. That's actually pretty nifty. But once you put it in Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, it just moves it back into panoramic mode. And I don't know why it still does that. I guess it just because it can. It's very clean. It's very simple in here. Simple to a point that this is your gear selector right here. It's this roll that you do drive, neutral, and reverse. That's your reverse camera right there. Park is a button here. It's not cumbersome by any means. It's something that you just can easily learn to deal with. The thing that might be difficult to learn to deal with is that all your functions are found here. Like your air controls are found here, and other driver functions are also found here. Unlike the radio, which you can quiet it down immediately or make it louder, the air blower controls are inside there. So that's a bit cumbersome to get into, but we'll get into that later on when we do a proper behind the wheel. What the rear lacks in terms of charging, the front definitely has, because it's got a wireless charging pad. It's got a Type A and a Type C and a Type A 12-volt socket. That's very nice. And overall, it just feels good to be in these seats because the material in the back and up here is actually very good. And if you notice, it's one solid piece, which is nice. These bolsters may look like it's painful, but no, it's not. It's actually quite soft and forgiving. It also does not have a lot of driver aids, driver assist systems because, well, it's a very tiny automobile and the price is actually very good, but it has cruise control, which I definitely do like. Oh, speaking of price, you might be wondering what that is. Well, the single variant of the BYD Seagull, which is an electric vehicle, comes to under 1 million Philippine pesos, 938,000 pesos to be exact.
But available with an introductory price of just 898,000 Philippine pesos.
You get all that technology in a pint-sized car that can punch it and take you outside the city if need be. Now, I'm not saying I need this car, but I will say I want it. Moin, 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 moin.